And welcome everyone to Moku Talks. It's a place where we engage in community real talk. I'm Stacelynn Eli. I'm the state representative for House District 43, and I'll be tonight's facilitator for this session of Moku Talks. We're gonna have a real talk about Neighborhood Security Watch with Jody Akal from the Kapolei Homestead NSW. Hi. But before I bring in our guests, what is Moku Talks? So Moku Talks is a new project of the Waianae Moku Navigators, a community-based group that focuses on developing next generation community leaders. The concept of Moku Talks is about real talk, candid talk story sessions on topics important to the Waianae Moku. And they are meant to inform, inspire, and really to galvanize you to join in on solutions building. This event will be an hour long. And by the end of it, we're hoping that you're going to be asking how to get involved in whichever way you feel comfortable. Tonight's topic, Neighborhood Security Watch. And why is this topic important? I can share with you folks that as the state representative for House District 43, safety in our community has been a really topic of concern. It's been a priority. And we've actually been building our own NSWs here in our district, thanks to the help of Auntie Jody and her team from Kapolei Homestead. They've been really helpful to our community. But I don't want to take up too much time because Auntie Jody has lots to share. So Auntie Jody, if you could share with us all the great work that you folks are doing in Kapolei.
Mahalo, Stacy. Aloha, everyone. I am Jody Akal from Kanahili Homestead in Kapolei. And we started our neighborhood security watch back in 2010. It was, I came from the villages of Kapolei, and I did the NSW in the villages of Kapolei until I moved to the Hawaiian homestead. And when I came into the homestead, we moved in 2009, 2010, I got calls from our residents saying there was suspicious activities going on. So I thought, okay, I guess I'll start the neighborhood security watch again here in the homestead, and we did. And we were able to monitor a lot of drug trafficking in our community. And from 2014 to 2020, we were able to have 4 homes removed with the drug activities that they were bringing in. We do a lot of things. Maybe we can show our slide if we can. So what does it take to stand up for an NSW? Okay, when we got called about our NSW, we saw that we had problems in our community. And we had called out the community to see, you know, if we had people in our community that were committed to not only walking with us in a community, but you can also watch from your own house, or even when you're driving home to your house or you're going to pick up the mail, you know, you're using your eyes and your ears. And that's what we're all about, is just the eyes and the ears. And of course, if we see a problem, then that's where we come out as a community to solve that problem. In this picture that you see right now is, we just recently had this couple months ago. So as we were walking in our community, we were wondering, why are there so many cars that all have their trunks up or their hoods up? We thought, you know, what's going on? So we were monitoring it from our own homes. A lot of homes in here have cameras, and they were able to video what was going on right outside of their homes, but on these side streets. So we did notice that these cars will come out from about maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, and one car will be parked. The cars are not broken, they all work. They seem to be like, the way they're showing us is that they broke down or something. But there's where it says dealer, the arrow, and it says dealer, that car is where the dealer is inside in the front seat. And then one of the guys will get out of his car and he'll go in the back seat. And they'll be in that car for a good 10 to 15 minutes. And when they come, the backseat guy comes out, he'll go to the trunk and then he'll leave. And then another car will come in and another car. And this particular night went on till maybe 2 o'clock in the morning. We saw about five different um, guys that went into that one car. This other picture that you see is Neighbors Finding Solutions. Is we're teaching also other communities what to look for. This one right here, we were teaching all the kapunas about purse snatching. Purse snatching was in 2019, 2020. It was pretty heavy here, not only here, but in the mainland. So we were teaching them what kind of bags to use. And yeah, sorry guys, but
No, actually, I just want to, if I may share, the Kapolei NSW, you folks have been such a blessing to our community. Particularly because not only have you folks patrolled with us, but you have also taught us, like how to engage and how to be prepared for different situations. And in cases like this where you are teaching, our kupuna on how to be aware and vigilant. And I just want to say, like, that's what I think we need more of, especially on our Waianae coast, because we have to get used to see something, say something, and also knowing how to engage. Because sometimes it's okay to be scared, and afraid. But what I love about you folks is that you have taken the time to really teach us on how to do it right and how to be effective. So I just wanted to add that in if I could.
thank you.
What happens day to day with the NSW team? If you can share with us what it is that you folks do day to day, because I know you folks are busy.
We are actually 24/7. Believe it or not, we are 24/7. So we have many captains in our community. And one of my captains is she has the phone that will ring 24/7. If it's 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't matter what time. And if we do have a call for something that is happening in our community, we will all come out. We'll ring everybody, call everyone up and tell them, hey, we got a call, let's go. Something's happening at our park or something's happening down the road. So we are actually the first responders before we even start calling 911, which is really great. If the more of us, if there is more than, just one or two, and then we're at the site that something is happening, then we're all calling 911 and, we'll get a good response faster if all of us are calling for the same address or the same site, right? And then we're not just only, neighborhood security watch, but we do a lot in the community. There's one picture up there you'll see with us in the bus. We do ride the city bus and patrol on it. We don't have set schedules. We just feel like if we want to go, then we'll get on the city bus and we'll ride it from Kapolei, we'll go to Eva Beach, or we'll go down to Makaha. That has really worked successfully for all of us. And we have another one in the communities. We do help out a lot in community in cleaning up the community or feeding, having like this one was Christmas feeding for the homeless.
Mhm.
And then this other picture was in Kamakana community. You see the guy down on the ground. That was their first night that they actually took a walk into their community, and was very proud of them because look, they caught their first thief right there on the ground laying down. That was a joke. And then this other group is in Nanakuli. We're just excited for all these groups that we're able to walk with because it NSW doesn't have to be fearful. It's not for us. I mean, we enjoy doing what we're doing because we get to exercise while we're walking. Two, we get to meet people. But just being out there in the community, they'll see you. And of course, they're not going to want to come into your community because you got that big, bright yellow shirt on with, Citizen Patrol. and we all wear these blue lights around us. So especially with the blue lights, if they have no business in your community, they'll just turn around and they'll leave.
I wanted to ask, how many members do you have, that's participating in your NSW? What is the numbers that you folks average for each NSW or per captain? Because I know you have several in the Kapolei Homestead area. About how many members do you think you have?
We first started out with 60, and over the years we lost our kupunas, and then we went down to about a dozen, and then we picked it up again, and now I want to say we have maybe about maybe 8 to 10 different groups in the Kapolei area.
Mhm.
And then yeah.
You folks have been amazing. Like I mentioned earlier, like you folks have come out to the Nanakuli area to help us when we needed numbers for our patrol when we were starting up. I've been on several, walks with you folks and community events that is hosted by the NSW. And the reason I asked about how many you have participating and how many members you have, because I think sometimes people think, oh, we need a lot. And, you folks started off with 60, and, even though, over the time it dropped down to 12 and you folks are picking back up again. I just wanted to express like how successful you folks have been. And I've seen even during COVID time, last year, you folks were doing food distribution. It was being led by the NSW team in Kapolei. I've seen you folks lead entertainment throughout your homestead for kupuna who couldn't come out, and there were entertainers on the back of the bed. So I think it's important to inform and to share with our community on the coast that you folks don't just patrol. You also take time to engage in the community with other events. But I guess we can go to the next slide. I know you have more to share with us. And I love the patrolling on the bus. But if you can share with us, what's happening in this picture. It looks like you folks are being recognized at the city and county of Honolulu.
Yes, that was great. We were recognized. And actually everyone that's in that picture is representing different communities. That's not just my community, but I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had about 8 different communities there, all from the District 8 side, from Ewa Beach to Makaha. Mm-hmm. And then the one with our chief over there, we had that last one, I think was, I'm not sure if it was 2017, but that one was really good because we used to have these awards given out every year from HPD, recognizing all the different neighborhood security watches from all District 8, from Ewa Beach to Makaha.
Auntie Jody, we do have a question in the chat put in by Lenani. So Lenani says she loves community helping each other, but asks, does anyone in the community not like having a neighborhood watch? Have you folks experienced anyone in your community not wanting it?
Not in our community or any of the communities that we've walked with. The only one that I heard that didn't want would be, it would be up in Kahivelo side, Makakilo, because it's private. It's, I guess, some of those private ones, but I'm not sure because the homesteads are all private. So really nobody that I've heard.
So I know you folks have, have been recognized even, by our media. And I always share the story, like you folks are where like I aspire our NSWs here on the coast to be. You folks have documented taking out like at least 4 drug houses, in your community. Can you share with us, what that was like and how long it took for you guys to do something like that?
Okay, sure. When we did that, we had a call saying that we have some illegal, activities going on, and we would go to the house where the activities were happening, and we would see the cars coming up, like every so often, one comes, another one comes. And so what we do is we go right to the house where it's at, and we'll stand right outside by the house. We do not go on the property, but we'll stay on the four corners of that area, and we'll let them know that we are watching, we are from this community. There was a homeowner that came out of one house we were monitoring, and he did ask us what were we doing, and we told him we see traffic up here coming, so we're monitoring where is this traffic going, and why is the traffic coming in this heavy at 2 o'clock in the morning. And so he knew that he couldn't do anything else because we all live there. And so you know, he shut down his house and he moved out. We had a couple of them that actually moved out. So I guess they didn't really need the house. That was the sad part of finding out that they put the house up for sale when they found out we were, coming out every night, and we would have to go out every night until it stopped. So we did have committed people that were saying, we don't want this in our community and we want to make a difference and this needs to stop. So we did go out every night. It can take about, the longest was 2 years. It took us 2 years to monitor one home.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. We have another question from Catherine Kamada. So she's asking, do you have signage in your neighborhood advertising your neighborhood security watch? And does the leader, and I'm guessing that would be the captain, have a dedicated phone for the NSW? Like, how do you folks coordinate that?
Thank you. Yes, we do have signs. Those signs are given to you from HPD after being faithful in what you're doing. I know it took us a long time to get those signs. So when we did get it, we were very excited that we got signs to put up in our community. As for the phone number, yes, we do have a phone number that the whole community can call. And, like I said, 24/7. So it doesn't, we're available at all times, even though if we're sleeping, we'll get up because we are committed to our community and keeping it safe and healthy for our people. And I do want to say that we were able to get our community to be crime free for 2 years straight. So that was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's truly an accomplishment. And I just wanted to also touch on, one of our meetings where you folks came and you were teaching us, like, how to stand up your NSW and, the challenges and what you folks did. There was a lot of questions about folks, who were young families and they had to work during the day, they had babies. And I know you had shared that, that you had streets in your community where they couldn't patrol, but that you had encouraged that they at least have some type of phone tree with their neighbors. Can you share about that just a little bit too?
Sure. We do have a lot of people that don't want to walk with us, and that's no problem. It's not really about walking in the community, but just being the eyes and ears. So we do have a lot that we trained where if you see something from, you're just coming out of your front door or your driveway, and you see something that's right, then call us up. And then a lot of these homes in here, a lot of the homes are starting to put up cameras right now, which is really good. So they'll pick up all these pictures that we see right now. Is actually, a lot of them are coming from the homes, and they'll call me and they'll say, okay, we got this going on outside. They'll take the picture, they'll send it to me. I'll get the picture to all the captains. The captains will shoot it out to the rest of the list that we have in our community, and everybody will be aware. There is, we had a lot of cars dumping in here, and a lot of them was dumped in from tow trucks. And so we were able to, our association was able to get a hold of the tow truck company, and let them know that we had pictures and videos showing them dumping these cars in here. So they had a warning from our association and the Department of Hawaiian Homelands. So that really helped. We got, they had to come back and pick up other cars. But that's something everyone's got to watch is they're just coming in and they're dumping cars. And I guess they think this is private property where they can't get caught. But
Yeah.
last year it got pretty busy, and during the whole COVID season, we did not stop. We did not stop. Like I said, we could monitor from home, or we'll go out by twos. We'll go out, drive around, and we actually caught a lot of suspicious activities last year in 2020.
Wow. And thank you for sharing that because that's really a problem that we have had here on the coast for too many years, illegal dumping. So thank you for sharing, how you folks address that. The other thing I wanted to touch on is in the beginning, especially for us here in Nanakuli, we're still at the, like still at the beginning stages of our NSW. And, we have we've had Officer Kim Johnson, who's been wonderful in assisting our community. Because they were unable to be here this evening, could you kind of share with us? I know you folks are solid and you patrol on your own now because you're so experienced. But what was it like in the beginning? Working with HPD on some of the issues in your district.
Thank you. It's important to work with HPD, yeah, because we actually are under them. We're working for them. And when we first started, it was awesome because our first officer that taught us, what to look for out there is he did midnight. And we thought, midnight, wow, midnight. So yeah, he started the midnight with us, and then he had to leave us to go to another community at 1 in the morning and another one at 3 in the morning. So we thought that was awesome. So we just did midnight. And I guess as the years went by, people were saying, why do you do midnight? But that's when everything comes out. That's when you'll see more, right? Um, yeah, so it's really good working with them. Just they are busy. We had probably about 5 different officers, because some were getting promoted, they were leaving us. That's the sad part is when we just get ready to know who our officer is, they're already getting promoted and moving on. So um, as for us, we still didn't stop. Even if we didn't have any officers with us, we still didn't stop doing what we do.
So like on a typical night when you folks do patrol, like how do you do it? Like I know you had mentioned a little earlier about walking in twos, and even though I've had the experience of patrolling with you folks, can you kind of share like how you folks kind of split up into groups and patrol your community? I've seen you folks do several in one night and it was amazing, but I think it's important for you to share like, because it's exciting and just important to be engaged in your community and really the eyes and ears for what's going on for HPD. But if you can kind of touch on that.
Okay, thank you. Sure. We do walk in twos. So we could have maybe about, say, like 8 of us. There's 8 of us that came out one night. And then we'll make sure that we're always in twos, right? And so we'll take all different streets. We have our radios or cell phones, and we do walk around with these blue lights. Sorry, I didn't bring my blue light to show you guys. So there was one night, there was about 4 of the ladies were in one cul-de-sac and saw some activities going on. So they had radioed us, called us, and we all got there. And when we got there, we saw, some things going on. Guys were going to start fighting. They were drinking. There was loud music. So we all called 911 quickly at that time. And, that does help, but we don't attend any of if the fights or anything, we don't go by them or anything or try to stop it. Or sometimes if our cunnies come out, we have to remind them that no, gotta follow the rules. We're just the eyes and ears, so it's just making a phone call away and having the police come and take care of everything for us. But it does help by having, having using your eyes and ears.
Thank you for sharing that, because that's also another important thing to share, is that this is not about being confrontational with, those who are engaging in criminal activity, but really just notating and being able to report to HPD what you see. Lenani in the chat has another question for you, Auntie Jody. She said, do you folks patrol your neighborhood and other people's neighborhood? If you could kind of share what you folks have been doing to help other communities.
Sure, thank you. Yes, we do jump into other communities if they invite us. Just a couple of weeks ago, we went into Princess Kahanu and we were able to walk in their community. From Princess Kahanu, we went into, which is in Kapolei, and some went into Kaupea. So yes, we are able to go into other communities, and actually it helps because it gives more numbers for those communities that maybe have only 4 people or 3, so we'd like to really help. And if we get a call from anyone that's asking for us to come into Puli, Eva Beach, and if you guys don't call us, then we'll get on the bus. We'll ride the bus and patrol all the way down from Eva Beach to Makaha.
Thank you. Because Lenani, I would like to share that, when we first started having the conversations about doing a neighborhood security watch in Nanakuli, I had called Auntie Jody because I had heard about them and seen them on the news, and like just the awesome patrolling they were doing in Kapolei. And the first meeting they came to, like, I was a little embarrassed because I only had like maybe myself and maybe like 3 other people, and they came with like 10. But at the end of it, it was super encouraging, because a lot of communities, if you've never done NSW, if you've never patrolled, like, it can be scary at first because you don't know what you're going to encounter. But it's helpful when you have experienced NSWs come into your community and help you out, because they really, at least for Nanakuli, like, they really help to teach us the right way, like how you had mentioned, Auntie Jody, about not being confrontational, but really just reporting on what you see and what's going on. But I just wanted to touch on that because, I mean, we've grown. Right now, I think for the Nanakuli Valley, for Pua Avenue, I think, with our Protestant church, hosting the NSW there, I mean, we went from 3 to 30 or more. And sometimes the numbers fluctuate, but with COVID, it changed a lot of things because we couldn't walk anymore. So we would just meet on Zoom. But Auntie Jody, them, they're very experienced in Kapolei, so they were able to continue to patrol their community, which I think is amazing. But with that, I'm gonna ask if we can turn to the last slide. Okay, so earlier I had mentioned we're going to ask, you to get involved in whatever you feel comfortable. So now that you know a little more about the issue, and these are for our guests that are joining us here on this Zoom this evening, here are some ways that you can take action. If you need help, starting up your NSW, I don't want to overspeak, but Auntie Jody, I know you folks have been very instrumental in helping out, standing up some of the NSWs and coming out. If you can kind of talk about the beginning stages of that. I know we kind of touched on it in the beginning, but like, what is the first step for you folks, as far as like, what would you recommend to our listeners who are joining us, like, what is the best way to start your NSW?
Starting your NSW, if you would like to start an NSW, give us a call and we'll come and sit down with you. And it's also getting you started with HPD. So we would have to contact, the HPD and see what area you are, because there's different areas where certain officers go out to, and that would be good. Volunteer with another community NSW. That is that is not something that we ask you to do unless you have your own group of you have your own in your community, and you want to go into another community and volunteer your services with them, you would have to be invited from them, because that's something we try not to do. Everyone has their own sort of like, and if you do see something, then yes, definitely say something. Who do you say it to? Is that's a good question. If you see something, who do you say it to? Again, we can't all be calling 911, right? Because they're busy. And I guess over the years, why it takes us that long home, we take a longer time because we're monitoring it to get enough evidence to turn it over to the narcotics or HPD. And because if we call them every night to say, okay, there's drug activities, then yeah, it doesn't work like that. Sorry. It's just that you do have to monitor different situations. It takes time. You should have all your evidence before you turn it over. So they have enough evidence to, go and visit that home. If you do want to start one, call us and we'll be happy to help you guys start an NSW.
Would you be comfortable in sharing your NSW number? Or do you want them to call, or I can have them call my office and we can connect you. So for our office, our number is 586-8465. But Angelina, if you're comfortable sharing your number.
Yes, our number is open. Mine's is 808-620-9169. Yep,
Awesome. Thank you
there it
so
is.
much. And I guess right now, I know we've had folks sharing in the chat, but if we could open up the mics, if Catherine or Lenani or if anyone else would like to ask questions. I see Auntie Carol Pelikai. If you folks have questions, feel free to ask. Catherine Kamada, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. You can ask.
Okay. Hi, Stacelynn. Thank you for hosting this meeting. It's an eye opener, and our neighborhood, I can say we're pretty much connected because we have a little nonprofit going on because something else that's gone on in our neighborhood. So we have a kiai. We call ourselves Nakiai o Maili. My question is, we don't have sidewalks, so it's really dangerous to be walking at night. So I would think that for my neighborhood, our solution would be to be connected by phone, and many of us have cameras already. So, just staying connected that way. I don't think my neighbors would go out walking at night, especially since we don't have sidewalks like beautiful Kapolei.
And I'm sure Auntie Jody can touch on this, but I think the most important thing is to find what works for your community. Yes. So not everything that's done in Kapolei would work for your area. Not everything in Nanakuli would work for Maili. So I think it's really important to you folks have a good sense of what works and what doesn't for your community. Auntie Jody, do you wanna share some of your experience, with some of the communities within the Kapolei homestead, who haven't, like you said, patrolled? You kind of touched on it a little bit already, but maybe we can just go over it again.
Sure. We're actually doing that right now. We're doing more of the homes in here are actually watching from their houses. That works. That would be great because it's safer in a way, for our kapunas too. And maybe we would like to come to your community and, sit down and talk story.
Sure. Well, we haven't met in a while, mainly because of COVID. So, when we do start opening up and having our meetings again, we could invite you and your group to come and talk to our group. Another question that I have is, have you ever been threatened?
No, we've never had any threats. We do get asked a lot if, we've been threatened or if we're afraid of what we do because we go out in the morning time. But no, I'm actually, the ladies that walk with me, our oldest is 86. And we're from 60 to 86.
Mm-hmm.
There's about a dozen of us. So we're all kupunas, and yeah, I mean, I do get a lot of questions about that. If we're afraid of what we do, but no, we've never been threatened, or none of our ladies. Our kapuna that's 86, we have a hard time telling her we're done because she will not stop. I mean, this kapuna she walks. She won't let us pick her up. So if it's 3 blocks down the road, she said, I'll meet you. And she tells us to drop her off at DHHL, and she'll walk all the way home. So she gets in trouble a lot, but she doesn't like stopping patrolling. These ladies love it. They love it because they're walking, they're exercising. And again, the key is being out there where they see us, want to come in, and especially those blue lights. We got to bring you guys those blue lights.
Yeah, those blue lights are amazing. I have to say, when I use mine all the time, but I also wanted to add, Auntie Jody, they patrol without HPD, but in Nanakuli, we patrol like for now, well, when we get back into patrolling, we're doing it only once a month, but with assistance and of HPD. So we would have one of our community policing team members actually walk with us in full uniform. So Officer Johnson, whatever streets we wanted to take, she would walk with us. And it was really great because it's not like we just walked past our community members. It was a good way to say, hey, how are you doing? This is what we're doing. Like we're just patrolling. We're making sure there's no funny kind of activity. And our officer, like she actually used to introduce herself, to the community members that we would see like by their cars or out in their yard. And she would actually help us to like encourage them, to join us. She would tell them, it's just once a month. I hope I see you next month. And the other thing too is like we would take our meeting dates and we would start off with a topic like touching on human trafficking, touching on different things that we want to work on in our district. And then after that was called, we would patrol. So it wasn't just walking. We would actually have sit downs, and Officer Johnson would teach us like how to, from a distance, patrol your community. So the goal is to not be confrontational with anyone in your community. The last thing we want our community members to do is to engage in activity that would put them at risk. Sorry, just wanted to add that in. But Catherine, if you have other questions, did you have other questions?
No,
Okay,
thank you very much.
I have a guest in our chat box, and it's a resident of the Waianae area, and is sharing that I know my community has unwanted suspicious activity, and there is not an NSW team. I would like our community to start up one. We have our numbers available for my office and for the NSW in Kapolei. Feel free to contact us. We want to help you, and if we have to, Kapolei and Nanakuli will come out to help the Waianae residents, stand up their NSW and patrol. I think that's like the goal of our Moku talks, is to figure out how we get to solutions and how we work with each other. But my number, again, is 586-8465. And Auntie Jody's number is 620-9169. So feel free to contact us. Is there anyone else wanting to ask a question? I see Auntie Carol Pelikai, do you have any questions you want to ask?
No, I think they're doing such a great job. We're so lucky to have the volunteers and your group creating a wave of volunteers throughout the different communities.
Thank you. But I'm just gonna give it another minute or two if anyone else wants to jump in and ask any questions. Okay, well, we're almost at the end of our talk story. And Auntie Jody, was there anything else you wanted to add in about the NSW? Thank you so much. This was really helpful, and there was a lot of great questions that were asked, and thank you for having all the answers. But is there anything else that you'd like to add to share with our host?
Yes, thank you for having me on, Stacy. And this is great. I mean, I didn't really get to share a lot, there is more to share, but I'd like to come into your community and we'll meet you and we'll sit down and, we'll share more things on what we do and how we do it. But mahalo.
Right on. I just want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. So our next Moku Talks is going to be next month. We're going to have Chaminade talk about their project creation and using data to make informed decisions. Thank you everyone just for taking part and engaging in our community and being part of the solutions building. But I hope you folks have a great evening. So aloha and good night.